So, it's Gaz from Fermented World. Today I am checking the gravity and the taste of the maybe mediocre experiment. I'm not sure if you know what I did with this. I put a load of honey in the bottom of this. I added water, I added yeast, and I left it. I just put an airlock on it and let it naturally go through all of the honey that was there. And yeah, it's finished going through it. It's still got activity, so I'm going to see where it's at flavour wise. I'm not going to take a hydrometer reading really, because there's no real point, because I can't tell what it's going to be. Simple fact is, I didn't take a hydrometer reading in the beginning because I didn't mix up the sugars into it, so there was no point. So we're going to have a taste of it. We're going to see what we want to do with it afterwards. See if it tastes any different by the way that it has fermented. Fermented. Speak proper English. Now I do need to take a reasonable bit of this out, because if I'm going to add honey, which I think I might be, I'm going to need the space in there, because when you add to it, the volume increases, which obviously rises the level of the liquid. Wow. That's very strange. It almost tastes like candy. Wow. That is so peculiar. It reminds me of some sort of fizzy sweet. I don't think it's very strong. I can smell alcohol in there, but I can't taste it. And it's still very sweet, even though it is eaten through all of that sugar. There's no honey left in there for it to ferment anymore. It is literally right the way down to the bottom. Started up there, the yeast landed, formed on top, and just ate it day by day. Just ate it and ate it and ate it. A remarkable experiment, and I'm quite flabbergasted with the result as well. I can't get my feckin' head around it. I'm trying to think what sweet it is now as well. How bizarre. I'm going to put the airlock back on that, and I'm not going to add any honey to it. I'd bought honey to add to this, but if it's going to taste like that, I'm going to keep it like that. I wish you could taste this. It tastes clean. It tastes it's so flavoursome. It's I can't believe it. Again, there's no way of telling what ABV it's going to be unless you are good at calculating how much honey it takes to create a certain. Now, I matched the amount of honey almost to what I put in there. So if it has dissolved, fermented all of the honey, it should sit around 9.8. So that's not bad. It's very, very drinkable. I'm very, very impressed with that, as you can probably tell. I haven't got any vessels any spare vessels at the moment. Do you know what? I want another taste of that, but I don't want to take too much out of it. No, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to be good. I'm going to drink this sour beer instead by Vault City Brewing. This is an amazing beer. I'm not endorsed and I don't work for them. I wish I did. This is a dragon fruit, kiwi, strawberry and lychee sour. Oh my days. It's very special. 8%, so I'll be on my back in a bit. Wow. It's created some sort of kind of like a fruitiness to it, but it's a sweetness. It's like a fruity sweetness, which I've never tasted in a mead brewing. Our mind is absolutely blown. Now, is that because of the gradual fermenting of the sugar? Instead of it dealing with all of the sugar at once, it's got time to concentrate on the level of sugar that it's on, because it can only eat away at the sugar that it can get to, which is what it's resting on. Wow, it tastes like goddamn candy. Can't believe it. I'm very impressed. I may try this again with some more expensive honey, because this, I used a very, very cheap honey, which I got from Tesco's. It was like 69p or something. I think it's just a blend. Yeah, it's a blend of non-EU honeys, and it's packed in the UK. That don't mean nothing to me, but it was cheap enough to run an experiment with, that's for sure. Wow. I'm going to leave it for another week. I'm going to see what happens, and it may very well eventually get racked off into another vessel, but I might just leave it just sat there doing whatever it's doing and see where we go with it. Who knows? The flavour might improve, it may go off. That's why we run experiments. Anyway, thank you for looking. And if you want to go and look back on this video to see what I did, how I did it, and why I did it, go back and have a look at the experimental fermentation. I think I called it natural fermentation. Yeah, check it out. When I do a mead or a beer, I let my lad taste as it goes along, so he can see how it is and what it was and etc., and if it gets any better, etc., etc. So when he tasted this experimental mead, as he was taking his sip, I said, "Candy, sweets," and he said yes. I says to him, "What sweets is it? Because I can't think what it is. I thought it was some type of chalky sweet, like a crunchy, chalky kind of sweet." And he said, yeah, at first we thought it was those double lollipops. Then we thought maybe those, the opposite to the Parma Violets, you know, the fizzers or whatever. But I don't think it was them. And then he said, he found a packet of Love Hearts in the sweets jar. Ate a Love Heart. After the tanginess had disappeared, that's pretty much what we were left with. That's what the mead tastes like. I was trying to explain it to you earlier on. I just wish you could have tasted it. But that's pretty much what you're left with. How it's done that, I don't know. It must be the fact that it can only ferment a small portion of the sugar at a time, so it's more concentrated on one area. I watched the colour of it change from day to day. So when it first started, it was literally a layer of mead, not mead, a layer of honey. On top of the layer of honey was the water, and then in went the yeast. After a day, the yeast had completely clouded out the water. It was just like you couldn't see through it or nothing. It was like there was a storm at the top of the bloody honey, just sat there waiting to devour it. And devour it did. And each day, every 2 days or whatever, I'd check every day. I'd check the level of how much it had eaten during the point of the day. Then also started to notice the colour changing. So as the yeast had eaten through the honey, it produced its alcohol and created whatever it was that it put back into it as a byproduct. It's still very, very light. It's not as dark as what some meads can be. It's very palish kind of looking. I'm really, really tempted to stop it doing what it's doing now. Rack it off, then stop it doing what it's doing and bottle it as like a prime specimen. And then after that, do another batch exactly the same way. But then maybe add more sugar, honey to it the second time. Like I wanted to today, add more sugar. Honey, sorry. Well, it is sugars, yeah. And then see what happens there. What I didn't want to do is add more now and then ruin what I'd created, because that would have really pissed me off. So, yeah, Love Heart Sweets is the Swizzlers Love Heart Sweets, I think they're called. I think that's the company who owns does them. Wow, fucking amazing day.